The following contest scheduled for one fall.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to One Fall Friday. No Mercy was an incredible show. We're going to talk about the results of that show, and we're going to talk a little bit about events leading up to SmackDown's next event, Hell in a Cell, and we'll talk a little bit about NXT too. But first match of the night was the Intercontinental title match, Jason Jordan versus The Miz. This was a pretty good match. It was about what I expected. I mean, I love The Miz and I love Jason Jordan. They both have incredible in-ring credibility, I guess you would call it, credentials. You know, they know their way around the ring. They know they can sell and they can also make their own moves look believable. So I wasn't disappointed at all in the match. I had The Miz coming out on top, and he did come out on top. Jason Jordan, he is definitely going to be a future champion at some point. Mid-card, he's already been tag team champion. Even, you know, he could be Universal or WWE champion. He's very, very good. He's got all the skills there. They just need to figure out a way to get him over with the crowd. I don't really know what that solution is going to be or how they're going to do it. Hopefully they do find it, though, because this guy, he's got talent for days, and he definitely deserves to be in the main spotlight. Next match, we had Bray Wyatt versus Finn Balor. I had Bray Wyatt coming out on top in this match, but what happened, Finn Balor was making his entrance, and then Bray made an attack from behind, and they never even rang the bell, and they were going to take him out. They were going to escort him to the back and get him checked out. That right there immediately, light bulb, red flag, whatever you want to call it, I got it. It was, okay, he's not going to win the match anymore. What's going to happen is they're building him up to be, you know, the comeback kid, so to speak. You know, he's getting attacked, and he's going to come back, and he's going to wrestle the match anyway, and he's going to end up the victor. That's exactly what happened. They told a good story. It was, I guess, the best way that they could do it with their third match. Just to keep it interesting, to keep you wondering, well, what's going to happen now, you know, to keep the story moving along, or to close the chapter between these two. I really don't think they're going to have another match after this one. I think it was the final match, and it was just as good. I'd say it was definitely better than their match on Raw. I kind of like their match at SummerSlam a little bit better than this one. But that's just because I'm a huge fan of the demon persona. But that's just me being, you know, biased. But anyway, so Finn Balor, Bray Wyatt. Finn Balor got the win. I'm pretty sure they're done with this story. I'm kind of anxious to see where Finn's going from here. I'm always curious to see where Bray's going, who they're going to stick him with. It's always good, entertaining TV to me. Next up was the Raw Tag Team title match. Sheamus and Cesaro versus Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. This match was probably the highlight of the night. I mean, the match was an incredible match, but what made the match popular and what got people talking was there was a bit of an accident in this match. I don't know, was it Rollins or Ambrose? It doesn't really matter who. Anyway, they had Cesaro positioned up for a slingshot. If you're watching this and you don't know what a slingshot is, then I'm like, well, why are you watching a wrestling blog? But in case you don't know, a slingshot is, you got one, you know, you're the opponent and you're standing up and you've got your other guy on the mat and you're holding their legs up, and then you lean back and they stand up when you lean back and then jump forward. It's like a slingshot, a catapult, or whatever you want to call it. So Cesaro was on the receiving end of this match. And I don't think, you know, because you can't literally throw somebody like that. You have to jump in order to sell this move. And I think what happened was he got a little overzealous and he oversold this move. And when he jumped, he went a lot further than he wanted to. And his mouth landed right on top of the ring post. And as bad as that sounds, watching it was even worse, because you could hear the ping, oh god, it still gives me goosebumps just thinking about it, just talking about it. It was so brutal to watch. You could tell immediately, oh my god, he's hurt bad. You don't know what it was, but you could tell by the sound, he's hurt bad. Something's wrong. And when he came down, he had his mouth covered like this. And when he took his hands away, it looked like his teeth were gone. It looked like he chipped the bottom of his 2 front teeth just completely off. He spit out blood, and it was just pouring out of his mouth. What had actually happened, though, was that his teeth got jammed up inside his gums. I think it was more than just 2. I think it was actually 4. 4 of his teeth got jammed up into his gums. Oh, God. Just thinking about that, it makes my skin crawl. Poor Cesaro. But the incredible thing was, after sustaining, they did what they had to do, and he tagged out Sheamus, and he got outside of the ring because they needed to check him out fast. And I don't know what they told him outside of the ring, but regardless of what they told him, he got up on the apron and he finished the match. He had to have been going through so much pain at that point. It was probably throbbing. It probably felt like it was 3 or 4 times its normal size. God, I just hope at some point maybe he got some sort of numbing sensation so that he didn't feel pain. But I almost guarantee that he was feeling pain the entire time, the rest of that match. They ended up not winning the match. I don't know if that's how it was originally planned or not, but either way, kudos to you, Cesaro, man. To quote Vince McMahon, you really do have balls the size of grapefruits. Next up was the Raw Women's Championship match, a fatal 5-way match with Nia Jax, Emma, Sasha Banks, Bayley, and the champion Alexa Bliss. I had Alexa Bliss coming out as the winner, and she did come out as the winner. Quality of the match was a bit better than what I was expecting. With those multiple person matches, sometimes it's hard to make it a good match, to make it an entertaining match to watch. But Nia Jax got a lot of stuff in, a lot of things that I've never really seen her do before. She looked good. She showed off her power by having 2 people on her shoulders at the same time. She did a squat while she did that, and then threw him back for a Samoan drop. Looked really, really good. The person I think that really didn't get a good chance to get her stuff in was Emma. She did get some stuff in, but that's not all she has to offer. She's got a lot to offer, and I feel bad for Emma, especially after Bayley just got shoved in at the last minute. It's like, well, great, there's one extra person that's got to get their stuff in, and I don't know. That's really my only complaint about the multiple people matches was you just don't have time for everything. So yeah, Alexa Bliss came out on top. The following night on Raw, however, they're starting a rivalry with her and Mickie James. They had a little bit of something whenever she was on SmackDown. Didn't really amount to much, but I think they're maybe taking it a step further. Either that, or it's just an in-between opponent for Alexa until Nia Jax gets ready for the championship. I still think she's probably going to end up with the title before. I think when Asuka makes her debut, and I said this last week, I think when she makes her debut, it's not going to be immediately for the championship. It's going to be against Paige, because Paige is working on coming back as well. And that's money. You've got the only 2 women that held the NXT championship that never lost, that retired NXT Women's Champion undefeated. So that's a draw right there. You gotta want to see that. Why would you not want to see it? That's gonna be a great match, and make it happen, WWE. If you're not planning on making it happen, please make it happen, please, please, please. Next up was main event number 1: John Cena versus Roman Reigns. The match was about as good as I expected it to be. It's John Cena. I just didn't know how well him and Roman would work together, because Roman's kind of hit and miss. He looks good in the ring, but not with everybody that he's in the ring with. I think the reason why they had him and Strowman go at it so far was A, because it was making money, and B, because they made each other look really, really well. They sold each other's shit incredibly well. So I knew that Roman has that capability. As far as offense is concerned, he only has 3 or 4 moves to his name, but he can still sell really well, and when he lays his own moves in, they do look good. Except for the Superman punch, it's kind of hit and miss. But anyway, big big match Cena, Big John Cena, Super Cena, whatever you want to call him. He didn't really carry Roman, but he put in the bulk of the work. I guess you could say that he took Roman to finishing school. And, a lot of people have been talking about John Cena since that match with Roman Reigns because he kind of, hung out in the ring until, the very end and, just made a slow, walk back to the stage. And you could tell something was up. A lot of people think that it was his last match. I don't think it was his very last match, but I do think it was one of his last matches. Not the match, but one of his last matches. And he went on. He had never really talked about it on any kind of WWE programming before. So he would approach the rumors, oh, well, John Cena's a part-timer now. He was like, no, I'm not a part-timer, I'm an all-timer. But now he's on the following, they had Raw Talk right after No Mercy, and he was a guest on that, and he went on record to say, I'm 40 years old, I've been doing this since I was 15, and not just at a normal pace, but at an elite pace, which he did. He played every single Raw, every single house show, and every single pay-per-view, practically, unless he was out on an injury for 15 years straight. That's gonna take a toll on you. Well, you're only 40, John Cena. Why are you retiring now? It's the pace that he went at. He drove it into the ground. He was just at it that much and that hard all that time. So it's completely understandable that when he says I can't do it at this pace anymore, take it to the bank. That's believable. I mean, the man wore himself out. So he said, I'm not done, but I'm definitely changing my pace and taking a step back, so to speak. So it's something that we all already knew. He just went ahead and decided to address it, because people were going to be talking after that exit that he made. Cruiserweight Championship: Enzo Amore versus Neville. This was kind of rough. I mean, people were still coming down from Cena versus Reigns because it had a lot of close finishes. But the match itself, I mean, Neville looked great. Neville always looks good. He's great. But Enzo, his thing, every time he's in the ring is, beat me up. He's the guy that gets beat up and doesn't stay down for some reason. Yeah. I don't get it. I really don't see the draw, and I think people were expecting to see more. If he's going to compete in the cruiserweight division and he was going to go up for the championship, I think they expected a lot more, and they didn't get it, and the crowd was disappointed. They started chanting, "This is boring," and I kind of had to agree with them. And Enzo had one move. He was on the top rope and he did like a diving DDT. That looked really good. But I'm going to need more, Enzo. If you're going to be a viable member of the Cruiserweight division, you're going to have to go to the gym or wherever you can where there's a wrestling ring and step your game up and learn some new moves. Now, the interesting thing about this, how they flipped it around was, by the way, Enzo won the title. I didn't think he was going to win, but he did win. The ref's back was turned, and he kicked Neville in the crotch and then pinned him and got the win. So because of that, and I think because of how the crowd has been accepting Enzo in the Cruiserweight division, they had a double turn. Enzo is playing the heel role now. He's very cocky, he's very arrogant. And I was kind of getting a vibe from that, like the weeks leading up to this. So maybe they had already planned on doing it, and it just didn't happen until now, like full swing. But yeah, so Enzo was playing the heel side, and Neville was playing the face side. Now, he came out like he did when he lost the title to Akira Tozawa for that short period of time. He came out, his hair was all dried and kind of sticking together, and they put makeup on him to look like he had like dark circles under his eyes, like he hasn't slept and he's going insane. They did that again, but the people were getting behind him, and he was, he wasn't the normal Neville heel that he has been. He was just something different, and it was cool to see that. And they put that in the very last segment of Monday Night Raw. So I think, that was a strategy to try to get people more. It was like, well, Enzo was hot, so we'll put him in the Cruiserweight division, and that'll make the 205 Live hot. Well, that didn't really work. So, we got to figure something. I don't know where I was going with this. I lost my point. I had a point, and I lost it. Fuck. Anyway, Enzo's the champ now. He's a heel now. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with this. And the Universal title match. Brock Lesnar versus Braun Strowman. I had Brock Lesnar winning, and Brock Lesnar did in fact win. Now, a lot of people are talking about this match, and a lot of people are pissed off about this match, and particularly the end of the match. Because you had Braun Strowman, who comes in, and he did his normal thing. Right off the bat, he starts attacking Brock. He takes, a suplex from Brock, gets right back up, takes it back to Brock. And then he hits him with his running power slam, which is what he's been using for a finisher. Brock kicks out. Continues to stay on top of Brock throughout, I'd say, maybe 10 minutes of the match. Dominant. At one point, Brock Lesnar gets the Kimura on Braun Strowman. So this is a storytelling technique. I don't think people really thought about this. This was a storytelling technique. Was he sat on his arm for a good 60 seconds, maybe even 90 seconds. A lot longer than, if he was really applying the hold, that would really be doing substantial damage to your arm and shoulder. If you've never done any kind of MMA, go check it out. Have somebody slap a Kimura on you and see how good it feels. Realistically, this was the story they were telling, was realistically, after sitting in that submission hold, his arm is not going to be 100%, and that's the way he played it. He was selling. It was like, oh, my arm. Oh, and yes, he did put Brock Lesnar in another running power slam, but he didn't capitalize right away. He was like, oh, my arm, oh, my arm. So people were, it's like, well, after that, Brock Lesnar puts him up in an F5 and gets the 1, 2, 3, didn't kick out or nothing. Well, think about the story they were telling. The arm, it played a factor. It might not be the outcome or the factor that you wanted it to be, but that's the story that they told, was that this is the reason how Brock Lesnar was able to overcome Braun Strowman, because he picked a target, he zoned in on it, and it was effective, and it played to his advantage. And that's exactly the story that they told, and I was satisfied with the ending. I mean, it sucks that Braun didn't get the championship just yet, but I had a feeling that this is what they were going to do, because Brock Lesnar has to be the legitimate badass, the immovable wall that Roman Reigns is going to have to knock down at WrestleMania, come WrestleMania time, in order to win the Universal Championship. I mean, that right there, it's you can tell this is exactly what they've been doing. I mean, it's the rumors that I've been hearing, and if you pay close attention to the booking and the storytelling, you can tell this is exactly what they're doing. This is the road they're going down. This is exactly how they want it to happen. It just sucks that it's gonna happen, but it's best just to hold your breath and take it for the team. All right, you guys, I've rambled enough for this week. So next week we're just gonna be talking about show results. Well, I actually no, because Hell in a Cell is 1 week from this Sunday. So next week we're gonna talk about predictions for Hell in a Cell. And one other thing I wanted to mention tonight, maybe around 6 or 7 my time, which I'm in Southwest Indiana and we're Central Time. I'm going to be live streaming for the very first time. I'm kind of excited, but also a little bit nervous at the same time. I'm going to be on Twitch. I'll put the link to my Twitch channel in the description. It's twitch.tv/Dave the One Man Rave. In case you don't check it out, there it is right there. But yeah, I'm going to be live streaming. I've decided to do live streaming on the weekends that I'm off. So we'll start on Friday. I have a game in mind. If I finish it, I'm going to stream Friday, Saturday, and Sunday if I can. If at all possible, I'm planning on streaming those 3 days. I've got a game in mind. If I finish it, then I'll figure out something else to play in the meantime. But come by and hang out. We're gonna have a good time. Make me feel comfortable in my new venture of streaming. But thank you guys very much for watching this episode. I'll be back later with another video. I hope to see you there. My name is Dave, and I am the One Man Rave. See ya!